This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. Time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, ready to talk geeky with you. That sounds like a come on. With me, I'm definitely not trying to hit on John Chichilla in Studio C in the Big D of Dormont, PA. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
I mean, not that
just over here updating the proverbial apps.
Not that I wouldn't like hypothetically hit on you. I mean, I think you're a very attractive gentleman, But that's I just don't want to make sure that's clear. He's of course the gadget guru of Big Bank International Esquire, and also back with us. Fresh off of the Pittsburgh Marathon, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you got serenaded by a death metal fellow from the Pittsburgh area along the route somewhere. The Dudders is with us. Or is she?
I'm muted.
There it is.
Welcome to our new podcast, Technical Difficulties.
Oh, come on. That's been the podcast for the last decade.
This is also my first podcast with the my new laptop. Do I look better?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I think you do.
Yeah,
a little clearer. I'm still taking my Zoom calls on that 720 webcam on that 10-year-old monitor that we were talking about last week from Chilla. So you definitely look a lot better than we are on those. So,
Ooh.
But no, it's good. Yeah, you got a fresh new M1 Mac. Have you been social mediaing a lot faster on that thing?
Yeah, everything is so much faster. I'm so happy. I can't even tell you how many times I've just told my computer I love it.
I feel like, and it's so weird, and I'm the same way because I'm looking at my MacBook and I'm like, wow, this is 2018. That's 4 years old. No wonder it had a problem this weekend, or it's having the problems that it's having, right? So, and I'm like, I remember you getting yours because I remember you had the old white MacBook with the Hello Kitty duct tape so it would stop shredding your wrists as you're using it, right?
Correct. Yes, that was very fancy.
And then what was it, a 2014 or something like
15.
that? 15? I'm like, how has it been that long since I've seen Hello Kitty laptop? But yeah, that's weird.
Which M1 did you get? The Air? Did you get the Pro? Did you get the
Pro? Pro. 512.
Going all out.
I'll offload things needed.
Going all out. I love it. But hey, we are on all the things right now. This is the AwesomeCast. You check out everything at awesomecast.com. You can I just saw your awesome thing. You can hit us up at AwesomeCast at SorgatronMedia.com. You can tweet us at AwesomeCast, Facebook on the AwesomeCast group, as well as on Discord and Reddit. We have some AwesomeCast groups on there. You can link to the Discord via AwesomeCast.com. Please subscribe to us on your favorite podcaster, and we are live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are currently live on Facebook, on YouTube, on the Sorgatron Media Twitch page, on Twitter, and I think I got everything figured out. It's not giving me weird feedback this week. At least I don't think it is. We are on Spaces as well, more in a broadcast capacity. You guys can listen in if you just want to listen on the road. It might be good for you guys if you're don't have YouTube Premium and want to listen in the car, if you happen to be commuting at this time of day or something like that. So you can hop into that, and we're going to record so we can listen back and see how it was. And again, eventually, I would like to get to the point that you guys can hop in and we can quote unquote take callers via Spaces if we get some of the hardware sorted out here in the testing and make sure we have something that works. I got the box is over there, but I don't want to move it. But I got an iRig, which it says is for guitars, but it has the connectors that I'm looking for, the 1/4 inch and everything, so it seems to work. Well, we were getting like weird, like lots of feedback on it, not feedback, but like just noise on it last week. So we're trying to figure out where that's at. But anyways, also thank you to our friends at postindustrial.com that have been telling everybody about us, about our shows and things like that. Go check them out. Hey, they have a print magazine too, so subscribe to that too. I've been getting it ever since I hit their Kickstarter back in the day. So, but definitely worthwhile. And of course, they got a great newsletter to keep you up on the news that's important to you in the Rust Belt, especially if you're in the Pittsburgh or greater area. And also I want to give a shout. They're doing some great podcasts over there. I might have been helping edit some of them. The It's Your Business podcast and the Hungry Girl Big City, I believe, is the name of the one show. I actually got to record some shows with them a while ago, and that was a lot of fun. It was a couple. I think it was pre-COVID. We might have done that. So, but no, go check them out. They got a lot of really cool content over there too. Also, thank you to our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/awesomecast. It's the beginning of the month, so everything's going through with you guys. So thank you so much, everybody who has stayed on with us and a part of that with the AwesomeCast and supporting the show. Thank you to our executive producer Brian Crawford, at the Coffee Club level Matt Weller, John Carmen, Cynthia Clossy, Scott McTaggart, and Mike Pound, and at the fan of the show level Michael Fedor, Professor Buzzkill, and Dave Ponder. You guys can support the show too, get a little bit of extra content over at patreon.com/awesomecast. Let's get into our awesome things of the week. This is just going to be a lot of personal stuff because I think I'm going to go triple slideshow on mine as well. Katie, you ran a half marathon.
I did.
Yes.
It's my first one. I am not a runner. I will 100% put it out there. I'm not a runner. I hate running, but I like running races because it's like a big parade to me where I get to wave at kids and dogs, babies and dogs, and look like I'm running. I did stop I think it was Steeltown Greyhounds, the retired Greyhounds. They had several dogs out that I stopped to pet every one of them.
Nice.
Some of them in raincoats, some of them in tutus. It did rain a lot on Sunday. So that made it a little bit more fun.
I saw the river in your story behind you when you were doing stuff on there.
Like one of the good things about Pittsburgh is if you get a big downpour, you know that the drains are just backing up. So there was just like rivers of water everywhere in puddles. So it was a lot of dodging puddles. But I did run. I did finish. I got my medal. This is my medal. Yeah, it's so pretty. Mine is a little bit special because you'll notice it's a gold color, which is different than other ones. And it says on the back, the Pittsburgh back half of the marathon, run for a reason. I was one of, I think there was like 50, maybe 75 of us that were able to run the back half of the marathon, which meant we started in the Shady Side area and we ran through different neighborhoods to the end. Usually when you do the half marathon, you start at the beginning with all the other runners, but this was a little bit different this year, something they did. It was for folks that raised a certain amount for charity. Mine was Young Adult Survivors United, which is one that I've been a part of YASU for years, or for a couple of years now. Wow, it's been a couple of years. time has flown me by. We said, forget how fast time flies now. But they're an organization that has done a lot of great things for young adult cancer survivors in the Pittsburgh and surrounding areas. And I ran for them and fundraised and ended up raising over $2,600 for them. And got the opportunity to run the back half of the marathon, which was a lot of fun. And you get to go through some of the neighborhoods that you don't get to go through when you run the front half of the half marathon.
Nice. That's great. And Dave Ponder's in the chat room, your medal buddy from the weekend.
Yes.
As well.
We were sharing our best photos because like after the race you get they send you all these photos with the graphic over top of them that you can order in various sizes, and usually I don't know. I'm sure folks really want them, but I've never been one to be like, oh, look at me. Look at how red my face is and how sweaty I am.
Yeah, they're not the most terribly flattering pictures, are they? When you're in mid-run in the 90% of the marathon has been run kind of a position, right?
Yeah, you're just like, this is gross. Just stop looking at me. And my last picture of all my pictures is a shirtless gentleman getting ready to cross the finish line. And I was like, that doesn't look like me at all. And you could just see like my arm, like this much of my arm. So just barely picked up my bib, but he's like, ah!
Right, because it's digital. I think we talked about before, it's digital, right? Like they take the pictures and it registers like is it an RFID or something maybe?
Yeah, on the back of our bibs. There's nothing. They used to do things where you would have your bib and then they would have the tag on your shoe, and now everything's built into your bib, which is really nice because that's just annoying, that extra step. But yeah, so I am a shirtless gentleman who looked like he was probably actually ran the whole marathon versus like
or he
petting dogs along the way.
He could have just looked rough for having a half marathon. That's fine, So yeah.
I did stop at Church Brew Works. Also, was handing out samples on my end, so I did stop for a minute for a sample too. So
I was just
my time would have been so much better if I wouldn't have stopped for beer and dogs.
Yeah. The consummate fuel of a runner, beer and dogs, right? Mm-hmm. So that's good. And also, because I think it happened after. I think it did happen after the show last week. But you made the news again. I say again because you've been on there a few times for one reason or another.
It's true.
You're like
very popular with the
I made a joke because our friend Matt Carlins, he writes for a pro wrestling news site, and he had a tweet that got picked up and went viral with one of the WWE wrestlers. You probably saw it, Katie. But then he wrote an article about his tweet going viral, and I was like, "So you are the news right now?" But that's you. I mean, Abby, how many news programs have you been on at this point, right? So
several, yeah. So it was nice because I got to talk about what I was running for, and it was great. And they showed some pictures of my brother and I I think it was probably like 9-10 years. I don't know. It had to be at least 9 years ago of us when he ran the half marathon, and I was part of a relay team. It was the first Yin's team relay team. So.
Oh, good. I remember when you guys were organizing for that. I was even getting texts from my mother. It's like, Katie's on the news again. I'm like, again? Apparently they played it like every hour. So
yeah,
for like
I was shocked.
So hey, it's a nice feel good story. So I'm sure you were all over the previews, and it was probably that last thing in the news. Just like the dog stories and things, that they put in after the sports that they teased the whole episode. So
yes, exactly.
That's awesome. You gonna do it again?
You know what? I said I was like, no. I'm like, yeah, probably, because I do things. I just do things, and then 2 days before the thing's supposed to happen, I was like, what are you thinking? That happened to me this year.
I was like inspired when you were talking about it earlier this year, and I marked it on my calendar. I guess thankfully I got booked for something in Seattle, but I was like, I'm thinking about doing it this year, and you're like, don't do it. Don't do that to yourself.
Do they have like a thing at the end? Like, is there something in Point State Park, or is there like a little shindig afterwards, or it's just like you get done and you're done?
It was kind of, the ending was a little bit weird this year because the corral at the end was much longer. Like I crossed the finish line and started sobbing because I was shocked I finished. And, but it's like this long corral to Point State Park now. And so like the people weren't for a while. So it was very awkward, at least for me, to like keep going. And I'm like, hey, there's my free bananas. as a charity runner, we got food in the FedEx like corporate tent. And by the time I got there, they were like, "Take as much as you want." And I walked out with like a handful of food, and I just inhaled a chocolate donut from Dunkin' Donuts with chocolate. It was the best donut I've ever had in my life.
Nice, nice. I love it.
So there's a little get together, and then like they had corn dogs and stuff you could buy there and merch.
Awesome, awesome. So there you go, Pittsburgh Marathon, another win in the books. And was this their first full one since COVID?
This was their first, in person, and it was really like the weather just said, "Screw you! I know it's your first one back." And they did so much to like all out and make this a big, super memorable experience. And the weather kind of just poo-pooed on a lot of it. At one point, the starting line collapsed. They do like an inflatable starting line.
Oh no!
And it just was like, because I had friends at the start, and they were sending us pictures, and we're like, "Oh geez." And we're on a bus that they're taking us over to our start line, and we're like, if they're going to cancel it, can they let us know before we get off the bus? School bus.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's awesome. Sorry, I've been setting up a smart TV, and I think I accidentally, I broadcast the show over there, and I want to make sure it wasn't blasting. So I'm fiddling a little bit over here. That's awesome. Go check out. I see there's still stories creeping out about the marathon. So follow Katie over on the Instagrams and Facebook and stuff if you're not already, and you get to see a little bit of that, right?
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Exciting.
Awesome. Chilla, what is your awesome thing of the week?
My awesome thing of the week is the Raptic Link
The what?
and Lock.
The what? A what?
The Raptic Link and Lock.
Okay. Pull it
So
up
it is a, what are they called? Like all the cool people wear them on their belt. Like the rock climber type people.
here. A carabiner?
Carabiner. It's like, imagine a carabiner, but the little flippy spring-loaded piece actually locks in place with a 3-digit combination lock. And in the bottom of the carabiner goes a Apple AirTag that, when it's locked, really can't be removed without heavily damaging either the carabiner piece or the AirTag. Obviously, if someone wants your stuff, they're going to get your stuff. But I like this concept because I have a handful of backpacks that have a little clip area on the inside where I could kind of tuck this away. People probably wouldn't necessarily notice it. And and it would kind of be locked in place too. So it's not going to just slide around the bag. Obviously you can attach these to anything you could attach a carabiner to, including, your kids' jeans. And they're not getting, well, I guess they could take off their jeans, but
but then you got a kid running around with no pants, and I mean that's a whole other.
Someone's going to notice that
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really like the concept. I ordered a handful of these. They do. There was an area where I saw you could get like a heavy discount if you bought 2 instead of 1. So I did buy 2 of them. Or this is the one that's 2 for $40. I think they were like 25 or 30 a piece, but if you get 2, so now I use the AirTags a lot. This to me just is one more thing to add to the arsenal of A, don't lose my stuff, and B, if someone tries to take my stuff, I can attempt to find it.
Katie, this is something that would have been really handy because I started AirTagging my luggage, and remember when I broke my luggage in LA and needed to put the AirTag in a new thing?
Yeah.
So like it seems like the right thing, and one thing I have been concerned about, like, would they find the AirTag in my luggage at when it's going through shipment and stuff like that, right? So but no, that this could be really handy. So just for that temporary kind of thing, right?
Yep. And I'm surprised that I've been taking the T into work probably 1 to 2 days a week. And I'm surprised because there's supposed to be a new notification that like, hey, you're traveling and there's an AirTag that's traveling with you and it's not your AirTag. I don't know if they've either no one on the T has AirTags on anything, or they've figured out how to mark mass transit
Now wait a minute. So
but I'm surprised.
How long are you on the T though? Like max? Like what? 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
So
But did you see the family, the story about the family that was leaving Disney World? Like they were walking through the parking lot and their phones went off saying foreign air tag detected, and it's, you know, it continues to like be in your general vicinity, as in, hey, someone's potentially tagged you with an air tag.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, 30 minutes is a long time. Like I would want to know within like 10, 15. If
unless they've updated this, because I know. So we give equipment to, we give equipment to some of our video people to cover some of these shows, right? And I had given one to a wrestling promoter like in the morning, and then he just didn't start getting notifications until he was coming back late at night. So it spent the entire day with him before it started notifying him. Same thing with when we left equipment with somebody for like the week, because like I was out of town, he was going a different direction, so I was like, here, let's connect and take this while we can. And it took like a day for it to start just pinging in his closet and driving his cat nuts, right? So like it kind of, I don't think a half an hour is going to be adequate, right? And if you're moving on top of moving on public transit, like it's not like I don't know how much you've tracked things with a tag, Chilla, but like it's not like it's not real time, right? It's a kind of more of a general estimate. It
depends on how close it is to another iOS device.
Yeah, that's
too.
true. That's
like
true.
Current.
But...
So when you did it, you gave the thing to someone else and it was registered as your AirTag?
Yeah. Because it's on all of our equipment. We have it on all of our cameras and gear and stuff that we would.
But on the newer iOS version, one of the things that's supposed to happen is if an unknown AirTag is traveling with you, you're supposed to be notified for a prolonged period of time.
Right.
So I would have thought it would have been a lot quicker than a day.
I guess that depends.
I mean, you can ping, like I can ping the AirTag. That, in fact, I couldn't find one of my AirTags.
How much are you actually around it? He, in this instance, it drove along with him, right? He probably passed it off to my videographer for the day. He put it back in the truck, and it was back with him. Like it went out from one place to another, stayed there for a while, and continued with him back. That looks like a tracker. Right?
Yeah.
Like that. I think.
Did you get the notifications like you're too far from your tracker?
No, I never got that. He got that on his phone.
Okay.
And kind of freaked out, pulled over, and somebody put a phallic something on the front of his truck that he thought it was a snake and freaked him out. So in the middle of the night. So that was fun. And I was like, well, who's going to find a snake in the winter? Come on. But anyways, I feel like, and I think it's a behavioral thing too. Hey, we see it's moving in this kind of pattern with you, right? This seems suspicious. I think it's making determinations based on that pattern, right? So
yeah, yes, but also like I stuck one in my kid's luggage when he wasn't with me. Like he went to visit family and I knew they were going to be traveling. And I also knew that family members had iPhones. So I'm like, oh, it's going to ping off all their iPhones. I know I'm going to be good all the time, right?
Right.
So, and I tracked that thing down the interstate.
Yeah. But still, like, I'll have stuff where you left something behind at the rest stop, right? When
I get constant I got notifications on the way home from work today that I left my AirPods and my iPad at work.
Yep.
And they were literally in my bag on my hip.
Yeah, it's similar. I have a similar thing that happened. So, it gets, especially if it's new and you get used to it. Like I know, Katie, you had a new AirTag on stuff when we went to LA, and you kept getting the notifications. Like it felt like more than I did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was quite constantly, and it was really funny because then it was making me feel guilty about leaving it behind.
Exactly.
We left it behind. Come back for me.
Well, my awesome thing of the week is Seattle. Uh, I was really fortunate. I got an opportunity to work with Defy Wrestling out there. And this is fun. We found out, we confirmed earlier in the week, it was initially going to be something of a tech demo to see if we could stream for sometime in like potentially June for a show out there. And we ended up going live on Pluto TV on Saturday night. It was 8 p.m. Pacific time, so it was 11 o'clock for you guys. So if anybody stayed up and ended up producing the bloodiest show I think I've ever participated in, and they agreed it was in the 5-year history of the company, it was the bloodiest match they've ever had with AEW's John Moxley and former UFC fighter Tom Lawler, filthy Tom Lawler, if you will, wearing his Daisy Dukes. But well, first of all, I'm sorry, I'm going into slideshow mode over here. But for like the awesome thing started here in Pittsburgh because first thing I saw was a Lego vending machine. That and which Mad Mike was aware of. Here's the problem, because I don't know if you guys, like, I usually fly Southwest, so I'm in the same gate area, the same spiral every time, so I don't get to see all the other stuff. And Mike was like, yeah, I've seen the Lego machine before when he's come through, and that had to been like years ago. So that was cool. Also, I got the Pixar Express plane going out on Alaska Air. So that was interesting. So of course I wanted to check things out. I dropped into downtown and checked out Pike's Place Market and checked out the original Starbucks, which may or may not be original Starbucks according to a sticker that I found. And I had to check and I don't know if I'm just like not used to it because I've seen so many Amazon technology things at the airports. But I went to an Amazon Go convenience store, and it was just a convenience store, and you used your app instead of anything else. But that was that was cool. Got to see, and also there's a monorail. There's a look at the inside of the Amazon Go store. It was really picked over. There was like almost nothing in it. I don't know because I'm after the lunch rush or what. But it was really super easy. Have you guys ever been to like Whole Foods and you just use like the QR code to tag your account when you go in there?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was basically like that. And then they let you in the little gate and you go. And Missy got the notification too on her Amazon app since we're on the same account. And she thought it was interesting. It actually timed how long you were in there. So she said she could imagine you doing like a what was it, supermarket sweep with Amazon Go. So it was like, who can get out quicker, right? I also got to visit the Amazon Spheres. Couldn't go in. They're only open to the public like the first and third Saturdays of the month, apparently. I didn't realize there was 3 of them, but it looked really cool. It looked like what I said to somebody. No, there's a closed thing. It looks like it's like the Phipps but vertical was my feeling when I saw it. But yeah, there's some shots for that, and they have a dog park for the Amazon people. But it was a really cool area, and the other interesting part. I'm like walking up on this thing, and I'm definitely at the Amazon offices, and across the street is the Devil's Triangle Gentlemen's Club. So, but other than that, there's something else I wanted to show in here too.
So when you're just real quick while you're looking for the other thing, when you go into like the Amazon Go place, can you, like, when you swipe in and the gate opens, if there's a non-Amazon person there, can they come in or no? Like, does it like swing shut real quick? Like, how do you prevent someone?
I have a feeling. I feel like they would. They're monitoring everything, so they're going to see that. Maybe an alarm will go off or something like that. Like it closes.
Like, what if you have a kid?
Oh, good point. I wonder how that does work then. It's got to help with that. Like maybe they just mark like, hey, this person came in with you, and now everything goes to your account. Like if a kid picks something up and walks out with it, right? No, that's a really good question. That'd be an interesting experiment. One thing that was interesting, because I couldn't see this because I think they were more built in at the other places I was at, but look at the camera array in this thing. Look at that. Look at all the cameras and sensors up there. So they had an open ceiling plan, so you got to see it. Like I feel like they didn't stick out as much at those Hudson ones, those Hudson News ones that we've seen in the airport, right, Katie?
Mhm.
Like it wasn't noticeable that I could tell, but there's the venue. Also, I gotta give a shout. Like this was a sweet setup. These guys. This is the Washington Hall, which is in the historic district. It's a historical building. They said like Jimi Hendrix and stuff played in this venue. And of course we just had bloody professional wrestling. So it was one of the coolest crews to do this with. It was super cinematic. You see the stage up there and everything. But it really cool to work with those guys and work with we had a streaming guy, we had an audio guy, and it was really cool. Also, I rode the Monorail, you guys, with Tina, who's over on the Wrestling Mayhem show, and I'm like, how do you have like a monorail and a light rail system with a view of the mountains that you get on right outside? I've never had this experience. I got off the plane and they're like, oh, you can walk across the bridge through the light rail, the elevated light rail, and to your hotel. Like it was nothing. It was the coolest thing, and I just like hopped on the train every day, just like head downtown for something. And of course, the monorail goes to the Space Needle. So, and I'm like, what is all this? Like, why do you have all this of the future technology? And I guess I didn't realize that they had a World's Fair. That's why there's a Space Needle and all the other stuff. And there's me and Tina pointing, because that wrong podcast, but pointing season. We're post pointing season, but yeah. And also while I was there, I high-fived Chris Cornell. So, but no, Seattle's a cool city. Like it's I feel like it's got kind of that Pittsburgh vibe a little bit. Obviously bigger, obviously with like more, Amazon footprint and things like that. But I don't know. It just seems like of course it is like I mean, it's the home. It is the home of the music that most of us here have grown up on, right? So, no, I thought it was kind of cool. I'd definitely go back. Hope I get an opportunity to go back again. So, and ride the monorail. And go to the Pop Culture Museum and see some Nirvana stuff. That'd be fun. So anyways, but you know what they don't have in Seattle? Our good friends at Slice on Broadway. And I understand, I was told they do not have New York City style pizza in Seattle. I don't know what they do then, but go check out our friends Yinzer Me, New York City style, Beachview, Carnegie, the East End, and North Hills, sliceonbroadway.com. Great pizza for these dark and stormy nights. I'm looking at the clouds out the window right now, and they're looking fairly threatening. So go check out our friends at sliceonbroadway.com. I wanted to touch on a story along with that because I wanted to hold on that for a second. But Tina also sent me this article. Apparently, T-Mobile Park, which is the former Safeco field where the Marlins play, they are actually going to be they're gonna open a store with walkout palm scanning technology, just like the ones that we saw in the airports a bit ago. So I thought that was interesting. Katie, we've talked about the self checkout scanning register that they have for like a little shop there at the Pittsburgh Penguins arena. Whatever it's called these days, I can't remember. PPG, that's right.
PPG
Paints. So it's interesting that they're throwing these experiments in the ball fields like this, right?
Yeah, I like this. This is super cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, however you feel about like giving your palm reading, your biometrics to them, just to get a expensive hot dog and a beer at a ball game, I don't know. So it's like I've been really considering the clear technology, right? Because I was in the longest TSA pre-check line of my life this weekend. I was like, crap, everybody's got this. This isn't fun anymore.
Everybody got the pre-check. Now you got to get the next thing.
Everybody coming out of Seattle, and then I'm watching two people walk in. Although SeaTac had an interesting. They have save a spot for security. So I don't know how it worked, but they were advertising it everywhere, so you didn't have to stand in security line. Like they'd take a reservation for security or something. I was like, what?
Like, is it like what they do at cons now? Because like they don't want the line to
Oh
been so many
yeah,
people there.
yeah.
It's like you get a number.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get a number and then they'll call, like you get a text message that says like any numbers, 504 to 537, please come to the line.
Mm-hmm.
And then you line up, they take that segment. As that segment dies down, then they take another chunk of people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that makes sense. I mean, that was the worst thing about New York City Comic Con, right? Was standing in line. So they kind of need to sell their own fast pass, or is that what that is for them?
It's not a fast pass. It's like if you sign up or you go to get in line, they give you the next number, and then they call back the numbers.
Interesting.
They're even doing that. I think they're even doing that at Steel City Con now for some of the longer lines.
Yeah, I heard they were having some
celebrity lines.
The celebrity lines. Yeah, I heard they were having some issues with that last show a bit. So, but
I would say the last three shows.
At least 2 shows, because Robert Englund was the biggest. Freddy Krueger was the biggest issue from the sounds of things. So, but yeah. So going down the line here, have you seen Snap has a selfie drone for your Snapchats? Of course, Snapchat memories. I'm sorry, okay, that's like Instagram stories, right?
And if you find or know anyone with this, I'm very interested in the look in the follow me feature. Because we were talking about doing like room tours, virtual room tours, and I thought this would be super interesting, even if I had to redub the audio, but to get the video, to get that very smooth.
Hopefully.
Because I've been playing with gimbals, I've been playing with all kinds of stuff. But I thought this would be a very cool, depending on how it worked, how you could do a cool fluid look walking into a room and kind of doing a tour around it. I don't know. So I think it records for a couple minutes.
I think so. So it's called the Pixie. It is $230 for your selfie drone. And that's the thing. I also wonder, so you can apply effects, speed ramps, jump cuts, 3D bounce. You can add lenses, sounds before sharing your Snapchat. But I wonder, like, is it, are you able to pull a video? Is it need to exclusively go to Snapchat? Does it just save as a? I'm sure if you go to the Snapchat, then you can take the video file. But is that actually, how good is the quality? Is it good enough for Snapchat, or is it good enough to do a couple things? And is everything vertical video? That has to be a concern too, right? So so it's interesting. So it was reported Snap invested in a company called 00 Robotics, and that's. They collaborated with them for the selfie drone. So
I read that when it comes up, you get the option like post to Snapchat or save to camera roll.
Well, there you go.
But I thought it was interesting. Like 2 cool things I thought about it was like when you're ready for it to be done, you just hold out your palm and it comes and lands in it. The other thing I thought that was interesting is it looks like the center of the drone looks like an old school camera dial.
It does actually. It's kind of weird. Well, you can buy it now in America and in France, and they say that it's going to be available while supplies last. And here's a little bit of it in action, actually, if you're with us on video from their website. So it pops up and stalks you. And this is supposedly video from it. I mean, even in their demo, and they're on a short lane where it's got to be windy out, and you see a little bit of bumpiness to it, right? Like you're noticing this too, right? So I mean, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be cheap drone.
But I wonder if it's then grabbing the footage and like doing that crazy trim, rotate, crop thing that you can do to simulate stabilization.
Oh, probably. Probably. It's probably doing a little bit higher resolution than what you're seeing, and going from there. So I'd be really interested to get my hands on one of these and see what we could do with it. So, but yeah, I love they got your stylized charging cable and carrying case in the wonderful Snapchat yellow. So that's great. Let's see, $249 with the Pixie Flight Pack with 2 batteries, and $229 for the general one with USB-C charging cable. And you can get some batteries, battery charger, all kinds of stuff like that. So I don't know. They're going to keep. I mean, is this more interesting than the glasses, Katie?
I don't know. Like I think I definitely think it's better. Like if I had to pick, you're like, oh, here I have glasses or have the little drone guy. I would pick drone guy because I think that's a little bit more fun. You can do a few more different things. I don't know. Like I think the glasses were just kind of like a hands-free thing, but not the same as like. I don't think it would be as much fun for me as the drone.
Still waiting for those built-ins, right? Like the Google Glass, right in my glasses, barely see. Like let them. It's coming around. I thought it'd be here by now. I honestly did. In some fashion, right? I haven't even seen a new form factor for Google Glass. I thought they would have done something by now, right? So
they did that business one, like the 2.0, that they've never really released to the public and had some upgraded specs, but I've never seen like a consumer.
No.
Mm-mm.
Man, that's man. I miss when Google was actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they just you're just mad you can't get support with them with your advertising product these days. But they're just like, hey, we're gonna do glasses. Hey, we're gonna do this. Hey, here's this reader that everybody loves, but we'll kill it. Here's this stuff. Let's buy YouTube because let's bring fiber to towns in Kansas City or whatever that was, right? Let's do mobile phones. I'm
interested to see what they do with their watch, because they're going to release the first of their watches.
I can't get excited. I'll be interested to see, but I don't want my hands on one. There's no reason. Stadia is floundering as expected, right? And that's the problem. Like what? Google is failing. Oh God, I got all Nostradamus on pro wrestling last week, and now I'm going to do it for Google. Google is failing to find the next big thing for themselves. They really are. Does Android? I don't think Android makes them money, other than being more stuff for advertising, right?
Well, you got to pay for the GSM license.
Okay. Yeah.
So like that's why Kindle doesn't have the official Google Play Store, and you have to like.
And not that I pay a lot of attention to quarterly results, but like still the majority of their income is advertising. And as we've discovered recently, that screwed Facebook when
but I think Google. Let me look it up real quick. Google's
or Alphabet, if you will. What are you looking up?
Not their vision. I think there's actually something behind the scenes though, that like Google's mission statement.
The one after "Don't be evil." Let's see. You know what I've never done? I've never gone to the Alphabet company's homepage, which, if you're not aware, that's what Google is now. Google is now a subsidiary under a company called Alphabet, right? So now that separates things like Waymo that does the cars and things like that. Google is not a conventional company. We do not intend to become one. You're definitely not.
But I think there's somewhere where at some point they did not feign to be a search company.
Mm-hmm.
They are a marketing company that does search. And why do they do search? Because if they are the best search platform, then they understand you and they can market directly to you.
Yeah. It's a company that wants to understand you, wants to know more about you, very, very unapologetically, and at least on a surface level wants to know more about you, versus Facebook tries to kind of hide that, it feels, right? and be like, yeah, we want to know more about you, but we don't want you to think about it. Here's a cat photo.
Their 2019 mission statement is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful.
Okay.
Which to me means I want to know everything about everything, including you, and I want to make all the information about you available to everybody else that wants to pay for it.
Oh, okay. But depending, you could read it the other way too. But like, we want you to be able to have access to all this information. Apparently, even about your ex-girlfriend and everything. But because we know about her too, it's that nice ambiguous statement that can be shaped either way. Yeah, so that's interesting. I do encourage, because I'm skimming it real quick. There's a big. G is for Google, and actually, we go in here. It takes a second, and the thing I read from Sergey, Larry Page. I'm sorry, it's an interesting statement of what Alphabet is. Is this the 2019 mission statement that you've mentioned?
I read that somewhere else, but it's interesting if you look.
And this is abc.xyz is their website.
So our approach to search, and I'm looking at actually google.com search, how search works mission. So they have a couple of different sections to their mission statement, but further down the list is sell ads, nothing more. Ads are how search remains free and accessible to everyone, but ads are the only thing we sell.
Meaning not your information, right? Because ideally, they know everything about you.
They know, but right, and interestingly enough, right before that is protect your privacy.
Right. So they want to know everything about you. They intend, according to the statement, not to disclose those things about you to other people, but they can have other people pay to use that information to get to you.
Without actually being the accessor.
Yeah. Because I mean that's
information.
It's a monetization. Say, hey, that's where we talk about in advertising. Like, I want to know everybody that loves gum, so I can advertise to people that love gum in Western Pennsylvania, right? And they know everybody loves gum in Western Pennsylvania, and you pay to access those people, right?
And then the dentist companies come after you, and say, I need to know everyone that has bought something or clicked on an ad for gum, because now I'm going to send them an ad for my dentist.
Absolutely. I do see so Star Wars Day is tomorrow. Is that right?
4th.
The 4th. May the 4th be with you, everybody in advance, or if you're hearing this in the morning.
Revenge of the 5th.
Yes. So
and Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that AEW Dynamite that's tomorrow night, somebody's going to do a big Star Wars geek out thing. Have to. They came in dressed as Space Jam one time. They came in dressed as Ghostbusters one time. I'm hoping they do something like that tomorrow. But Katie, you had been asking a question, right? What was everybody doing for May the 4th? Star Wars Day?
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I should be doing something, and I don't know what to do. There's like, I'm probably just wear some Star Wars gear, but I'm like, what else should I be doing tomorrow?
So I put a link below your What's Everybody Doing. I don't know if you've ever played Knights of the Old Republic, the old pod racer that they had at like Dave and Buster's. Republic Commando is a good one. Jedi Academy, or Jedi Outcast. Those games are all on sale for 50% off or more for Switch players. And I didn't realize it too. They also have what they're calling the Star Wars Heritage Pack, which is the last 4 of those games. The Pod Racer Commando Academy Outcast, and then they add on Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2.
Yes, I was seeing Force Unleashed was part of this.
For $45, which
that's not bad.
Is a really good deal.
Katie, I don't know how many of these you've played.
And they're all I've played them all, and they're all really good.
Highly recommend Episode 1 Racer. My brother got the N64 pod race game edition with that, and we played the hell out of that game. It is fun. It is fun. Republic Commando. I don't know. Do you do first-person shooters at all?
I have done them. I'm terrible at them.
Okay, you may like Republic Commando. I've been enjoying the Xbox edition when that dropped over there on Game Pass or something, or Gold maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Knights of the Republic is more of an RPG, like an action RPG, right, Chilla? I haven't played much of that one.
Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah.
That's an RPG, and it is phenomenal. I mean, and it's one of those ones where you can kind of choose your own destiny. So you can go to the dark side, you can go to the light side. You can play that game a bunch of times and take a bunch of different paths through it. And it's long.
Yes. But other than that, Force Unleashed, at least the first one, highly recommended. There is I've been getting I'm at all the Star Wars concept art stuff in my Twitter and retweeting it, and I think I retweeted one the other day. That's when you're taking down an entire Star Destroyer with your Force powers. Was one of the coolest freaking sequences I've ever played in a damn video game. Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2 I played probably 2 years ago during COVID. Played straight through them. So much fun. A blast. You're Darth Vader's apprentice, and you just go ballistic with your Sith Force powers. And it's just so much fun. Highly recommended. Katie, if you get a chance to get your hands on that one on your Switch, definitely.
Nice.
I think you're going to enjoy that one. And it's not first person; it's like a third person. And who's the guy that was in Being Human and he played Doomsday on Smallville? He plays he does the voice, and he does the mocap, and has the likeness and everything for the main character in there. So very, very cool. He's a really cool actor. I love a lot of stuff he does. Though definitely. So how much is the Force Unleashed? Is that just in the Heritage Pack, or no? It's
Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed is only in the Heritage Pack. The interesting thing is,
but it is $20 by itself from before.
It's $20 by itself, but if you buy the Heritage Pack, it ends up being like $15.03 with the other 4 games counting their discounts.
Highly recommend. If I got it, thankfully I have all these games for the Xbox. So, but no, if you have a Switch and you have not dived into these Star Wars games, definitely, and even those Jedi Academy, Jedi Knight games were really, really good games on PC. I know back in the day that I got to play a little bit of. Never threw them.
I'd actually say if you only did one and you spent $11.24, pick up Knights of the Old Republic. Mm-hmm. Just because of the replayability, the storyline.
If you want something less deep, I say Pod Racer at the very least.
Yeah, the Pod Racer, yes.
Yes. Don't let that Star Wars pinball fool you, but I'm sure it's great. So everybody's.
I never got into pinball on game consoles.
Really? I've loved the pinball game on the Zen Pinball Party that's on Apple Arcade. Really loving that. I've been playing the Garfield one. The Garfield and the Snoopy one more lately, right? So I haven't checked for a month. I gotta see if there's any new tables over there. But anyways, well, we're not gonna start talking about Twitter because that'll be a long discussion. Actually, can we take Chilla? Do you gotta get right out? Can we take 2 minutes to talk about
Sure.
Mastodon for a moment? Let people be aware of that.
Extra minutes.
What's that? You got a couple extra minutes? I thought this article was popped up. It is interesting about, obviously I don't want to get into all the stuff around Elon Musk and Twitter and everything, and what that is going to entail, what it is it going to happen? Who knows? I feel like it's every damn podcast I listen to, and I'm kind of getting tired of it. But after, according to Gadget, this was back on the 27th. So last Wednesday maybe, after Musk took over Twitter, an open source alternative is exploding. This is called Mastodon, right? I think I remember. I read this a week ago. So the difference between Twitter and Mastodon is it's what's called a federated platform, which means it's hey, remember when we used to get on Napster? and the reason they couldn't shut down Napster because Napster wasn't doing anything except pointing you to things, and actually we all split the file up that everybody was downloading, and it was downloading from all of us, and it was just spread across everything. I think that is a good analogy for what federated Twitter is, which is Mastodon. Basically, like I belong to the Twit server. Twit.social has their own. We could start our own Mastodon instance if we wanted to. Actually, Chilla, should we? Maybe. Maybe we should. Maybe this would be a good AwesomeCast experiment. But I don't know. Oreo will just be.
Then, like, is there like some central hub or index to go find?
Well,
all
that's
of
where.
the...
So I use an app called Toodle, and I just disconnected us from. I disconnected the spaces, guys. I'm sorry. So we'll fix that later, and we'll just end the space because it's just me and Katie hanging out in there. But anyways, so the federated thing is all like you can go on just the server, right, and see the tweets, like toots or something, and have an app called Toodle, or you can go to there's a thing called federated, and you can see everything, right, that's going on. And I thought this is because somebody was talking about it on I think Twit this week because they were talking about that instance, like their instance after everything exploded, because they had like 100 new people hop on their thing. And they said, yeah, the one guy's like, yeah, I like it because if somebody's in my feed and they're like some, white supremacy guy, I can shut down the entire server that's a white supremacist server and not get any of those assholes. Because they have their own instance over here because anybody can run one, and now you've just blocked off an entire, part of the community that's a problem. Things like that.
Does it actually block them, or do they just sit on an island and can still do their own thing, but you just don't have to deal with them?
Yeah, you don't have to deal with them. It's like blocking people on Twitter, right?
Okay.
So, but you've blocked like the entire section of people that are a problem for whatever reason. It was like, hey, I don't want to listen to Twit people because they're too geeky for me, and I can just shut that down. I can say, don't put this in my federated feed. Don't let them see me. Don't let me see them. Just like you would do kind of more individually on Twitter itself. So, but the whole thing also is the reason there can be a white supremacy server because this is federated, which means it's not centralized. Nobody can really control it. For better and for worse, but if you're worried about what's happening with something like a Twitter, Facebook, etc., this is a supposedly open alternative to that type of thing. So if nothing else, like I feel like it's a good thing that people have exposed that there is an alternative. So if something happens with Twitter and maybe we don't want to be on there anymore. Just like some people are like, I don't want to be on Facebook anymore. Let's go over to the Discord. It might be an opportunity to have those kinds of discussions over there as well. So, but I mean, I don't see it as a platform where you're going to want to advertise your wares perhaps, but if you're really kind of into the community aspect and good at the community aspect, I think that's going to be a good option for some people. So, or build a community. I know that's so easy to do these days from scratch, right? But we're taking it over there, I mean, it's an option. If you're, hey, nobody wants to be on Facebook for a Facebook group that we are all a part of, let's move them on over. Let's migrate, you have that opportunity. So, and it's something you can control, much like, Katie, how many often we say, what's the thing that I say? Like having your own, like not your island, but your own home or something on the internet with a website that you control. Like
that's the having your own embassy.
Yes, your own embassy, right?
Yeah. So, I was like, ta-da!
And what if you had a social hall in your embassy? Right?
Yeah.
So, so that's that idea. But I don't know. We'll play with that. Chilla, you haven't played with Mastodon at all?
I haven't played with Mastodon at all.
That's it. I'm going to find out how, and we're going to start it. We're going to start an instance. Okay?
We're going to start an instance.
As long as I don't discover that it's obscenely expensive or super technical, I'm saying it right now. We're going to start an instance of Mastodon and see where it goes from there. So Thank you so much, Katie. Good to have you back on the show. I understand your schedule. Your Tuesdays have opened up a little bit. Did we get out of the? Are we out of the playoffs already?
No, the first night is tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are we winning? What's the score?
1-0, not us.
Not us. Oh no.
It looks
Bad
like it's
guy.
the end of the first.
Yeah. I just looked at that too. I was like, how are you? Aw. It looks like officiating's bad. So good. Bonus.
Yay. Well, let's hope the games stay away from Tuesdays so we can see you more often over here.
Yes, that would be nice.
Yes. Kate Dudders on the Twitters.
Kate Marie PGH on Instagram.
There you go. And of course, the Chilla at Chilla on the tweets.
Josh Chill on the Facebooks.
Yes, and I'm at Sorgatron. You can follow whatever travels. I may be traveling this weekend. I just got word, actually. At the very least, I'm going to Erie, Pennsylvania this weekend. Maybe Detroit. I don't know. That I just got a call today, so we'll see where
It's
that
like
goes.
right across a lake.
A lake? Yeah, exactly.
You can take a boat.
No. The problem is somebody wants to book me the same night I was going to be working in the other thing. So that's the problem. And
so you need a helicopter.
No, I need two of me, which is the problem that I consistently have is I need another me to do things when we get these requests. But anyway,
variant Sorg, if you will.
We're working on a variant Sorg. Yes, exactly. We need alligator Sorg to handle this gig while I'm taking care of this gig. And then we'll have female Sorg go do this thing over here, and what were the other ones? Kid Sorg,
old guy
Sorg, whatever. That's enough of that. Thank you everybody for joining us. We'll see you next time. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.